I'm trying to record this now for a second time. Actually, third time I'm trying to do this. But I'm going to say that third charm, I can't even talk. Third time is the charm. And I'm actually going to get my thoughts out without being interrupted again. So we'll see. So, it's Wednesday. I'm still struggling to talk with my Invisalign in. I'm hoping I get used to it. I'm getting better. At it. Word of caution, though, if you have any kind of inflammatory arthritis or even regular, any kind of arthritis, if it affects your hands, I would just be very cautious getting Invisalign because taking them out with arthritis hands, massive pain in my backside. So, really wish I hadn't gotten my first video interrupted. I paused it and then I lost it. So, I don't know. But I was explaining that it's been like almost 2 weeks since I've put any thoughts out about life out here. And it's kind of sad to me because I do find it to be kind of therapeutic to do this. Just to say it, and whoever hears it, hears it. Whoever doesn't. Like, I'm not super concerned about that. But, it's kind of a form of like therapy for me. I just can say how I feel and put it out there. If it resonates with anyone, then great. I know I'm always thankful when I find something that I resonate with, because as somebody who struggles with stuff, sometimes it's good to know you're not alone and you can get good tips and feedback and stuff. But I've been kind of shut down the last 2 weeks. I've had a really hard last couple weeks, and I know why. I don't know why it got to the point where it was as hard as it was, but it was, and I kind of shut off. I did actually write a couple blog posts, but for some reason, just like verbal communication was harder for me. I could write, but I couldn't like think and process. And I'm still actually having a little bit of a hard time, but I don't want to get rusty and just give up doing this because it's something that I wanted to do. So anyway, but I've had a really frustrating couple weeks. However, for me, frustration is actually one of my biggest allies, because I've learned to listen to myself through actually listening to and acknowledging myself. So I think I've always had the tendency, like, if I'm happy, I roll with it. But if I'm anything other than, what's considered an acceptable emotion by some people, I shut it off. I don't listen. But I learned something. Like my frustration, for example, while I'm sure it's annoying to other people, it's trying to tell me something. It's trying to expose what my pain points are. So for me, the other day I was at volleyball practice, and I'd had a particularly bad Monday. And I took a notebook and I wrote down a couple of major frustrations of mine, things that I was struggling with. And I wrote it out kind of like in a bullet point, like, here is what my problem is. Here's what I'm struggling with. Like, here's like the, main problem, what's hard. But then I came up with solutions. So executive functioning is not always my bag. I'm either really good at it, I'm really bad at it, and I don't have a medium button. I'm high or I'm low when it comes to executive functioning. And prioritizing myself has never been something that I'm good at. So, like, I struggle to feed myself, which probably sounds dumb, but I do. And the combination of now having the Invisalign and having, my little one's waking up, having Invisalign and then being on a restricted diet and then having a busy toddler, it's all just hard. So I wrote out what my problems were, and then I wrote out solutions. So my proposed solution to my struggle eating is to have an eating window. And I think I'm going to be interrupted again, so I'm going to spit this out fast. I'm going to have an eating window where I can eat between 2 and 4 hours every single day. It's the amount of time my Invisalign can be off. I find that extended fasting is super, super helpful for my angry digestive tract. And then I can also manage to eat with my kids. I can eat when someone can help me with the kiddo that is so busy. And it's a potential solution. Have I enacted it? No. I'm doing it next week. I was very thoughtful about this. Last week was my daughter's birthday week. Then there's Easter. And then this week is a camping event with the scouts, and then my little one has something going on Monday. So Tuesday is when the go button gets pushed, and I'll give it a shot. But because I allowed myself to be frustrated, and I allowed myself to think about my frustrations rather than just trying to stuff it aside, I was able to actually come up with what might be a good solution. Will it work? Hopefully. Is there a chance it won't? Yeah. But I honored the fact that I was frustrated, and from frustration came solutions. The other day, I was just really anxious for some reason. Super, super crazy anxious. And instead of stuffing it away and being mad at it and telling it to go away, I kind of just greeted it and acknowledged it. I literally said to myself, I don't know if I said it out loud or to myself, but it doesn't really matter. And I literally just said, like, hello, anxiety. I acknowledge you're here. Come to visit me again. What are you trying to tell me? Yeah, if you can hear, my kids are laughing in the background. And, normally I get frustrated with myself when I get really anxious. Like, I don't have time for this. Not now. Not again. Go away. But my anxiety is trying to tell me something. My frustration's trying to tell me something. When I'm angry, it's trying to tell me something. When I'm sad, it's trying to tell me something. And I've often been labeled as an angry person. And that's not totally wrong. I can be. But usually my anger is just really deep sadness. And I'm going to wrap this up because my friend here is waking up. But my long story short is I am trying to just make room, make space for everything that I'm feeling. And maybe if I acknowledge it and I let it exist and let it pass organically, maybe I'll feel like this less, because maybe it's just being so persistent because I keep ignoring it and it's trying to tell me something really important. So that's my crazy thoughts for the day. Yeah, but we all just want to be heard. I think we all want to be heard and validated, and even if we're let down, we crave knowing that we're heard. And I think part of the reason I got to the point where I was having trouble communicating was because I've lately really been feeling like my words aren't heard, or my words are twisted into something I didn't say, or somehow what I tried to communicate turns into something completely different other than my intention. And that makes me frustrated. And then I realize I'm doing it to myself as much as anyone else is doing it to me, where I will feel frustrated or sad or angry or depressed or anything. And it seems like if I don't check the happy box of joy, then I don't allow it. I don't allow it to be heard. So my goal to learn to actually sit with myself in just the same way I try to practice with my kids. Just accept that all feelings are good, valid feelings, and they're all just trying to tell you something. And I'm actually really thankful that I was able to allow myself to be frustrated the other day, because I might have actually come up with a solution that works for me as a result. So, we'll see how it goes.